let's see here. To build positive live chat experience for you, any viewers choose who can participate. Okay. All right. I'm not sure what that is. Anyways, what's good, guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy. Depending on which part of the world you are at, happy Friday. Is it Friday? Yeah. If you're on this side, happy Thursday. You're on the other side, happy Friday. I want to talk about a topic that came up recently and through conversation with somebody that I know. And, another person reached out to me, we were just kind of talking and things like that. But I want to talk about this topic, right? Why they don't want you to come back home. Who are they, right? I'm talking about associates, I'm talking about friends, family members, not all. Some associates, some friends, some family members, some business partners, and some project managers. Why all this group of people don't want you to come back home? I'm gonna list out a few reasons. Of course, most of these are not new, they're not surprised, they're not news to you guys, but just as a reminder as to why most of the time your family member, your friends, your associates, your business partners, whoever those people are, don't want you to come back home. And we'll start with the obvious. Number one is they don't want you to come back home mainly because then, right, their source of income is going to diminish. What do I mean, right? Of course, when you're in abroad, you're working, when you get the phone call saying, hey, I need this, I need that, this thing happened, hey, being rushed to the hospital, this one, all of these stories, you need to act quicker, right? You need to act fast. As a family member, as someone who they're depending on, you need to figure out ways, send money down and things like that, right? And we get all of the stories about, the way, like whatever struggles that's happening, whatever emergency that's happening, they gave you that story, right? So then you have to act fast. You have to send money there. You have to take care of that situation right away. Being in abroad also means you're working, you have your job, you probably keep your work and things like that. So you have source of income, a means of income of supporting the family and supporting everybody. So you coming back to Liberia is normally going to limit that source, right? When you're in Liberia, you don't spend as much. You don't get all of those emergencies. You don't even really see those emergencies, right? Because they don't happen most of the times. They're fabricated. So you don't see a lot of those emergencies, all of these other stories that you get calls about for people to give you money. Those things automatically just disappear. So when you're back home, the source of income for all of these groups I mentioned will go down, because now you start to watch your spending. Now you know what things cost. You can handle situation in other means other than just sending money, right? So that's kind of like the number one reason why people don't want you to come back home. And I will extend this further to a lot of people who are managing your project. They don't want you to come back, right? They don't want you to come back because when you're back home, that means, again, it limits the source of income, number one. Number two, you start to get more involved in whatever project they're working on for you. You start to get more involved in that process. You start to, actually pay for things yourself. You start to go to vendors. You start to negotiate pricing and things like that. You don't just take things at face value anymore. So, and we all know 100% of the time, everybody who are working on your project in Liberia are, getting something off the top. Either when you send the actual amount, they negotiate with the vendor and get a little bit there, or sometimes they slightly inflate things a little bit so that they get something on top. So by you being back home now, all of a sudden now, none of those things are happening. So they really don't want you coming back home, right? You really would not see a lot of these folks super excited that you're coming back home. Not often, right? Maybe they will be excited if you're coming back for a little bit, 1 week, 2 weeks, you're bringing things for them, that's fine. But if you're going back home, let's say you're moving or you're going to stay like 5-6 months, they know that then things are going to be tight. A lot of things are going to be tight, because then you're going to be watching your budget, watch how you spend. You're now working your jobs again, picking up shifts or whatever it is to get extra money to send it quick. All of this emergency, all of that stuff it wouldn't really happen like that. So those are the people, right? People who are either family members, people who are either project managers, associates, business partners. All of those people is very difficult. Now the other side of this too is not all bad. I know a lot of folks, especially when it comes to your parents, they typically don't want you back home because they don't, they're afraid that something may happen to you. They may be in a bad situation, or let's say a false neighbor who they're having problems with, or a family member who they're having issues with, back and forth fighting, all of that stuff. They don't want you to come be in that midst, right? So typically they don't want you being back home. They don't want you being there for a long time. So that's another side of it as well when it comes to people who are coming back home. Another reason also is just in general competition, right? When you come back home, let's say when it comes to, I'll say this, right? When it comes to ladies or men going back home, people who know you, your friends or whatever it is, when you come back home, they may think that, okay, maybe you may be at an advantage, perceived at an advantage over them when you come back home. So there's like that competition, right? Either for mating, no, not mating, I use it like we're animals, like either for courtship, partnership, maybe relationship, whatnot. They may perceive you as being at an advantage, so then that creates that competition. So you would get a little bit of that feedback, right? And sometimes too, they don't want you back because they think that you coming back for their jobs opportunities, their business ventures that they're doing and things like that. They may see it as, okay, maybe you may have a little bit more financial capability, so when you come back you're going to have to rival them and take over what they're doing. So far these are three reasons why people don't want you to come back home, right? And that could be your family, your friends, your associates. A lot of the times, and if you've been back home, you will see that, you kind of notice that right away, right? You kind of notice how you're perceived. They're a little bit judgmental, as far as they look at you as somebody who they think, maybe you're thinking in your mind that you're better than them or things like that. And it's not all their fault, because I know people who will come back and then they just behave erratically. They just act as if they're on top of the world because they came from abroad and things like that, right? And so I understand a little bit of that, but most of it is just in it, meaning it's just like we're just within most folks back home here, where that when you come from abroad, they look at you as, it's as if you're not a part of them, right? As if you're stranger, as if you don't understand the struggle, or and you may have people telling you, oh, this is how we do things here in Liberia, or American man, or it's like labeling you with all these different things. So when you go in certain spaces, then they treat you a little bit different. So sometimes that's what is good to have. For instance, we're trying to establish a diaspora community in Liberia, where you just relate more with people who are from, it sounds bad, but it's good at the same time, because it's good to surround yourself with people who have the same life experience as you, right? That's what I'm saying. That's why you see these struggles where certain people may perceive you a certain way, or they don't understand you at a certain way, that they may think that you're acting a certain way, or you may think you just got to relate with people around you, because they will isolate you. Finding friends in Liberia is not as easy as one would think. You may have a lot of people around you who, when you go out, you pay for this, everybody surrounding you. But like, as far as that close-knit friends, who people will just interact without wanting anything from you, is a little difficult. Everybody is in these little pockets of associations, where if you're from abroad, you kind of don't fit within that, right? Because they almost see you as if like there's going to be some kind of benefit that you're giving to them to be part of that group, but at the same time it's almost like a subset of group within that group, where there's only those who haven't traveled abroad yet and things like that, that they feel more relatable to each other than you. So that's why sometimes it's just good to be in these diaspora communities, where people who've lived abroad and things like that, that you guys can talk more in a language that that you kind of relate to and understand better, right? So these are most of the reason why people don't want you to come back home. A lot of those, again, competition. One is a lot of people's source of income when it comes to how they're able to just get money from you when you're abroad. And especially, like I said, especially if you're moving back home, right? Especially Hey guys, how are you doing? Mr. Kankan, how are you doing? God is in control. How are you doing, number one fan? Thank you guys for joining the live. But yeah, you guys know, I haven't been on here in a minute, so been working on a lot of stuff. I'm gonna unveil here a little bit, for especially for those of you who are gonna be in Liberia at the end of the year, as most people travel to Liberia. So, but yeah, so those are some of the main reasons why to keep in mind as to why, especially when it comes to family too. Most family members don't want you to come back home. I'll be honest with you. And that mainly is sometimes they portray these circumstances and situations to you where it's hard to verify, right? Somebody will call you right away and say, hey, your nephew is really sick, we're rushing to the hospital. You're not going to have days to be thinking about it, verifying it, and be like, and you don't want to not believe it, and then something happened, and then and then you feel guilty, so you're gonna have to spend that money, things like that, right? But all of these things don't happen when you're back home, when you're living here. Nobody really, I don't know if you guys have noticed, you really see that a lot of these emergencies that was happening when you were abroad, they don't really happen when you're back home. It's all of a sudden everything is fine, right? And even some conditions in which they portray to you may not be the same. I'll tell you this short story. One of my relatives, I'm not even going to be so specific, one of my relatives, I was really excited to come back home and see. That relative and I have been talking a lot. I was super excited. We're really close when I was little, growing up and things like that. However, all along I'm thinking, man, this person, I need to come back home, help with this person life, contribute and things like that, because I know they're struggling. I know they're sleeping on the ground. I know they don't have no place to sleep. They barely have food to eat, and this was my close relative. So I gotta come back home. I brought a lot of stuff. I bought some stuff. I brought a whole suitcase of different things. I had the money set aside for different business ideas and just different things. I'm like super excited to come back home. And I'm like, this person is really in a bad situation, knowing that, my dad passed away. My dad was like the main anchor, providing opportunities for that, my relative. So I was super excited to come back home, and just to come and realize that my other cousin pulled me aside, like, look, and I explained the situation. I'm like, man, I really gotta help this, this person, because this and this. And they're like, wait a minute, nah, like, that relative is good. That relative actually has a job. That relative have a couple businesses. That relative has bikes running for, that person. That relative has a place to stay. That left this house for that person. They live there and they're renting a couple rooms. I was shocked. I'm like, yeah, nah, there ain't no way, because I know this person is sleeping on the ground. I know they barely have food to eat. I know this are all the things I know. This is what I've been told. And just to come back home and realize that was not the situation at all. This person actually had a place to stay, had means of making income, had some businesses going, bikes running for him. And I was so crushed. I was crushed. I could not believe it. And when I met the person, my relative, all was like, hey, what did you bring for me? Hey, what did you bring for me? It's been long ago, you haven't, communication was lacking. So I hope you brought something good. I'm like, damn, can we just connect? I just want to reconnect first. Like, can we bond? And like all the things I used to think about. T.O. Harris, top fan, number one fan, what's good? All of them, like, and like those things are like secondary. It's not even what it is. It wasn't even important. It was just about, what did I bring? You need to make up for lost time. I hope you came in the right time. My this and this, my this and this, my whatever it is, I need money. I'm like, dang, like, I'm telling you, with the first day, and I was sad. I swear, man, I was so sad knowing that. I really thought it was just that family ship, that bond that we had growing up. That's what I was looking at and thinking about, not knowing it was merely about what did you bring, how can you make up for lost time and things like that, right? So there's a lot of those, right? Those are most of the reasons why most of the reason why your family don't want you to come back home. So just something to keep in mind, as far as. But again, like I said, there are some people who genuinely don't want you to come back home just because they feel like, a certain situation is not safe, or people may try to hustle you, or whatever it is, mostly parents, mom, dad, and things like that. especially if you're a lady. Most of the time your mom wouldn't want you to come back home. They're like, oh, you know, they play not safe and this and all kind of stuff, especially with, you know, all of these things, some of the things going around on social media and stuff like that they're seeing. They like don't want you to come back home. But vast majority of the people don't want you to come back home because you are their source of, you know, income. However way they are getting money out of you, when you go back home, you'll be able to see for yourself, or you may be able to participate yourself, that you may not need directly to be sending money through people. You can just do it yourself, right? So Meyer Brown, what's good? So those are the reason why. But let's pivot, man. I want to get a little bit interactive. Everybody on the live, I see y'all. What's good? Let me know, are you guys planning on going to Liberia soon? Are some of you planning on going this year? What do you have working on in Liberia? You know, how do you see the situation in Liberia? Like, you guys know I don't really talk politics as much. I really just participate in whatever good thing that's happening in Liberia. You know, over the past few years, I've seen a lot of positive things going on. I know a lot of people don't share that. That's not what we see on social media at all. But a lot of positive things going on in Liberia by Liberians taking the stride, you know, making things happen, slowly taking back the economy. I really see that. And again, people always reach out to me for just advice on different business ventures that they can do and opportunities. And I'm surprised. I'm not surprised per se, but it felt good knowing that this year alone, I've talked to 3 people who, based on my recommendation and the conversation we've had, went back and, you know, made an investment in certain sectors, and it panned out pretty well, and they're, you know, really happy about it and doing really good. And like I said, man, I keep saying on this channel, there's a lot of opportunities in Liberia, a lot of money to be made in Liberia, a lot of impact to be made in Liberia. You know, somebody made a comment the other day saying, you know, Liberia now is what Ghana was like just 10 years ago, and look what Ghana is right now. So it's going to take all of us to really contribute towards that and make it happen. And we are going to get there, but it's going to take us, you know, to make that happen in Liberia. So, you know, let me know, guys, who are you guys going to Liberia this year, or did you just visit? Are you back? Any plans in the next few years? What are you guys working on? What are you looking forward to as far as, you know, the direction the country is going and things like that? You know, and just let me know if you're watching. You can just comment down there. Number 2 fan, Meyer Brown, what's good to see you guys, man. I know it's been a minute, but in regard, I'm waiting for you guys to respond so that we kind of keep it interactive. But in the meantime, you know, I get a lot of emails, and people who follow me on social media also inbox me and things like that, just asking on the progress of what we've been working on, how things are going, and some people asking how they can participate, how they can invest, and things like that. Things are going great, and of course, it's been a rainy season. You guys know we're, you know, into the real estate space. It's been a rainy season, so it's kind of slow things down a little bit. But we've had a few positive things in the sense that now we're offering financing in-house as well. So those who don't want to go through the bank and all of that stuff, you're looking to build, but that's only if you're looking to build our smaller unit. Then we're able to finance half of the amount. If you put up the half, then we finance the half of it, basically. Of course, there are details to come involved with that. I mean, like, you know, basically, you know, putting a lien on the property and things like that, all of that stuff. But we're able to offer that. Those who want to go through the bank, our banking partners, they can do that through too. And if you're building a bigger home, you can do that as well. Those who are just self-financing through paying an installment to build on their own land, that's fine. We're doing a lot of those right now. We kind of kept our project to about no more than 7 at a time, because just to be able to deliver, and also just based on human resource, we don't want to be overwhelmed and just take all these projects and we're running here and there, and then we give you guys all of this, you know, hey, oh, next year, or like we're delaying. So we just cap it at 7. We've completed a few, so we're back down to 5, so we can take on 2 more projects until more and more things can be happening. You know, more and more projects can be completed as well. So Maya said just apply for a passport. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so if you're going this year, I don't know, I mean, those of you, there were like a lot of passport locations, so I think it's just one now. I'm not sure what exactly it is, where it is, but yeah, if you apply for a passport, you can, you know, go this year. Of course, we're there pretty much every year throughout the year, but especially towards the end of the year as well, because we have a lot of other things going on as far as, and just connecting with people who we're in business with, right, in Liberia and stuff like that. So um yeah, so that's kind of what we've been working on. The properties are going great. We're about 60% through. And those of you, a lot of people who were there recently have visited our construction sites. You can visit a construction site. Just let us know. We'll schedule a time for you to go see some of the properties being built. We've completed a few properties. You know, these are people's personal properties. So some of them were allowed, they will allow us to take people there. Some people just, you know, they don't want anybody coming to their spot to look at what they got going on. So that's that too. But yeah, let us know. You know, we kind of go through the whole construction process with you. We're the only company that I know of that have insurance in all of our constructions, right? So your property is insured. We have a performance bond with Activa, one of the biggest insurance company in Liberia. So when we're doing your construction, we have insurance on that property. So as we're building, if something happens, something go wrong, whatever it is, you're insured. We're not calling you, coming back to you and be like, oh, you know, they won't happen with the other wall for that. It's actually happened before, where recently the property we're working on, unfortunately, when we miscalculated the roofing angle. So when we pretty much almost completed, there was a heavy rainfall, right, that kind of halted the project for a little too long. Then we plan on doing it, so it weakened some of the structure during the construction period, and one of the wall came down. We had to redo it a certain way, right? So so basically we had that, you know, kind of reimbursed and things like that, because we had that performance bond. We pay the insurance premium for those. So, you know, so basically, you know, just let us know if you have. And also we assist with if you, from like start to finish. So a lot of folks who want to build, they don't know where, they want help with acquiring the land, they want help with their construction plan and things like that. You know, we do all of those as well. You know, a lot of times people will come to us in sync or at our location on 24th Street as well. So, but yeah, that's what we have going on. Let us know. Melvon B, hello, what's good? So yeah, just gonna let us know, you know, where you're at, what do you guys have planned for this year. I know a lot of you guys are doing businesses in Liberia. A lot of times people will reach out. I'll give my humble opinion on, you know, if they're doing certain things at certain places, and if it's recommended. Just kind of, you know, it's good to do research as far as, hey, you know, I know you guys are there a lot, you guys are into this space, into that, and you know, and I'm thinking about doing this or that, and what's your recommendation, or what input do you have? Melvin say hello, my name is Melvin. Oh, Melvin, okay. Black American, I just came back from Liberia. Oh, okay. I love the Marshall area. Good. Yeah, Marshall is pretty good. We have a lot of constructions going on in Marshall. Well, we've sold a lot of land in Marshall. You know, selling land in Marshall is one of the scariest things. So we kind of shrink our inventory down a little bit, because we have other vendors, other people we're partnering with to expand our inventory of land that we're selling. But it became so sketchy, and there's just so much risk with getting land in Marshall that we just went with ones we're comfortable with, and we verified, and we personally have consigned. So those are the only ones we're selling. But Marshall, of course, is, you know, it's coming up rapidly, and you know, it's like your second, you know, thriving city in Liberia that is coming up, other than, you know, the ones out of town, Buchanan, all of that stuff, Nimba, you know, all of that stuff. So when it comes to suburb, and a good thing about Marshall is a lot of the constructions or people living there that are new built, a lot of the buildings are new built, especially in certain communities, right? There are a lot of new built. So you're building your home in an area where quite a few homes are new as well. So you know, but I would say when it comes to acquiring land and things like that, Marshall is one of the most tedious. Like, you have to be so careful with purchasing land in Marshall, especially in the key areas, right? There's a lot of places that people want to be. If you go far out in the city of Marshall itself, things like that, there are, you know, a lot of land there and stuff. But in a very up and coming area, you know, that it's going to take a while, maybe like a 5 to 7 years time, that it may be okay to kind of inhabit that area. But for now you might be the only one, or road access and things like that. So oh, Limbasa Road. Okay, yeah, that's a nice area. We have development going on by the former First Lady City of Hope in that area. So you pass that Limbasa area and go down a little bit. That area too is a up and coming area. It's a lot, and that's the beach side. So going down that way is a beach side, and we sold some land, a lot of beachfront properties. We don't have any beachfront property currently. Well, we have some, but I have to go through the process of, verifying and doing all our background checking, all that stuff with our lawyers and things like that before I can put it up. But all the beachfront property we had prior to that, we've sold, and people have already started developing on them. Yeah, so Melvin said, what is your recommendation for a lawyer? I want to purchase land, but I need a team. So our lawyer is Flemister. Her name is Harmony Flemister. Just reach out on Instagram, or you can Google it. In fact, Harmony Flemister, Flemister, Liberia. Just put it on Google too. Her information will come up. They have a law firm, and she and her dad from New York to Liberia. They're one of the prominent law firms in Liberia too. So I think she's moved around a little bit. Usually she's out of the country too. Sometimes they have an associate that works with her, and so you can get information. But if you go to like Instagram, Liberia to the world, you send me an inbox. There I can send you that information, her direct contact and things like that as well. And then kind of go from there. But yeah, so that's where things are right now with just what we got going on. As far as the country itself, a lot of folks are moving back. A lot of people who are reaching out are people who are relocating back home and things like that. You guys don't know, if you're in the diaspora, just how things are going, the economy, cost of living, just a lot is going on, right? So people are thinking a little bit outside the box, getting to places where their money can be stretched. Of course, a lot of folks will consider Ghana and things like that. But Ghana is quite expensive, especially if you're going to be in the city. You could go out in the outskirts of Ghana and stuff like that and live pretty comfortably. Of course, Ghana has more structure as far as, but we go through the same struggles. I'm not gonna lie to you, like same struggles as Liberia, right? You still get tricked with land buying, you get double sold land. There's still a lot that goes on in Ghana just as well. They're a little bit more structured than us, of course. And as far as infrastructure is there, all of that stuff is there. So people are doing that, but you spend a little bit, you spend more. So people who want to get a lot of bang for their buck are going to Liberia. And a lot, like Melvin, like a lot of African Americans, have a lot of Caribbean people from the Caribbean, people from Barbados. I have people who reach out who they're in the United States, but they're originally from these places, and they're looking to relocate. People are looking a lot for business opportunities in Liberia, and I've had a lot of non-Liberians too who've reached out, who look at Liberia as a great spot for business, right? And especially all of these emerging business that has already materialized in Ghana and it's already been there for years, and it's hard to go compete with those guys out there who already have a first mover advantage. So now they're looking for a place where they can start up and be the big fish in a small pond, as compared to going to Ghana and being a small fish in the big pond and stuff like that. So it really depends on what you're trying to do. But anyways, comment below, guys, if you have any questions as far as just business opportunities, you have any questions about just what we got going on, if you need any recommendation for anything, let me know. We offer a lot of these services, but also I have a lot of folks who are my COIs, my center of influences, that I can recommend as well, people who have worked with for certain things, right? So and that I utilize as vendors or just associates that I work with as well. So let me know, and then we can kind of go from there. But anyways, I just wanted to chop it up with you guys for a little bit. Let me know if you have any questions. I see most of you guys are here, but again, like you guys know, when I'm on here, I like to be more interactive instead of just talking quite a bit. Let me see here. 49 seconds shock that was uploaded. I don't know what that is. That's mute. Okay. What is that? Okay. All right, I see. But anyways, I'm also working on dual citizenship. I heard it's very hard for American to do business without a dual citizenship. What do you um if you are, I mean, it's, yeah, it's easier anywhere to be a dual citizen to do business in Liberia, but you know, one of the hardest thing as a non-Liberian, or if you're somebody who is not of an African descent, is to own land freehold in Liberia. But other than that, I mean, you can do business in Liberia, if you're, you know, it's just a different channel. If you are not a Liberian, you can do business in Liberia still. Of course, the best thing to do is, you know, acquire dual citizenship and get your, you know, your Liberian passport and things like that. You go and register your voter registration card, all of that stuff you need to do to be also a Liberian and contribute via taxes and things like that to Liberia. So um, it'll be a lot better, smoother for business. So, but you can still do business as a non-Liberian. It just have to be done differently through a different channel, which is being done in Liberia. So um, a lot of people ask me that our business do pay taxes in Liberia. We had to file taxes not too long ago in Liberia. And that's one thing too, is like when, you know, just doing business differently. Because I know a lot of people, like, people don't even realize you gotta pay taxes in Liberia. Like, especially if you're, you know, a little bit of a smaller business. But, you know, we don't want anything to come up in the future where, you know, we get shaken down for certain things, or just, we just want to do everything by the book. You know what I mean? Like, as far as renewing our business, um, renewing our business, you know, business paperwork, registration, all of that stuff we have to do. We make sure we get everything done, pay our taxes and all of that stuff, acquire licenses and permit for whatever we're gonna do, just to do things the right way, man. We don't want to run into any situation where, especially when we're working with people, and then now government come in and be like, oh, this and this and that. It's just not good. So it's, you know, a little bit of a pain, but, you know. Eddie said, watching from, okay, Topeka, Kansas. Kansas, is that Kansas? Are you a dual citizen of U.S. and Liberia? Yeah, so I am. So basically, you know, it's when I'm in Liberia, moving around, I move around quite a bit, and I usually just use my Liberian passport, which is, you know, it's just way better just traveling with that. But there are certain ways to move around. Everybody move around differently, especially if you have just the U.S. passport, getting a visa and stuff like that, getting a certain type of passport. But if you have both of them, you know, traveling, you know, leaving the country with one, coming back with another one. But like when I get Africa, I move around quite often. You know, of course, it's just better using your ECOWAS passport if you're moving in West Africa, especially I'm usually going to Ghana, Nigeria, and, you know, Togo and Sierra Leone, places like that, just looking for opportunities. So yeah, so that would be a very easier way to do it. Yeah, you have the number where I can contact you. I have some business questions. I don't want to ask other questions here. Yeah, I do. So just hit me on WhatsApp, because I move around often, you know, be in Ghana, everywhere. So WhatsApp is just better. So that number is 763. Let's see if I can type it in here. Can I? Oh, I think I can do that here, right? No. Anyway, I'll just mention it. I'm not sure if I can type on here. So 763 344 3624. So just hit me on WhatsApp. I usually pin the number down in most of the videos that I put up. So 763 344 3624. So Alton says, can your company build salt water pool? Now, here's what I'll say. We have built, we haven't fully built a pool yet, but here's what I would say. So normally with us though, our company is emerging. We've done a lot of projects, but we haven't been around for the longest time. We have an associate company who's been building forever, and, you know, we've learned from them, we've consulted with them too on certain projects. So in situations like that, we'll consult with our partner company, you know, to get more expert on that. So we don't want to screw up anybody, anything. So our guys, we've built properties, we've built pools, but it's not like when you see saltwater pool, or what I'm thinking about, is normally a smaller pool that we build, like a smaller pool in the yard that we build on a one lot and things like that. So I'm not sure if you're looking for like a real, almost like a Olympic sized pool or more for like high end pool and things like that. But when we are building and it's anything that engineering wise that's exceed what we're comfortable with, we have associates. We even got a professor that teaches at Stella Marie in structural engineering. He's been teaching for I don't know how many years, right? So sometimes we consult with him when we're working on a certain project. We pay a consultation fee, consult with him, and mostly we're working on a bigger project. At every milestone, he's on our team, so we haven't come through. Just gonna look at things, verify things, make sure that everything is right, and then we do that. So Melvin said, do you come back to Minnesota often? Oh yeah. I'm just back and forth a lot. I'm looking for, if anybody know anybody who has flight airline benefit that they can put me on or I can pay for, whatever it is, that'll be great. Because I'm tired of spending way too much money going back and forth. It's very expensive for me. I spend, like, I'll say no less than $15,000 a year on the low end, just going back and forth to Liberia. So if I can get on somebody's benefit, that would be great, man. I know all my friends that will be going back and forth like I am, be flying first class and be paying $40 and $150 and stuff, and I'm like, damn. So if you know anybody you want to help a brother out, that would be wonderful. That I can get on a benefit and pay. Somebody was going to put me on the ass, was going to pay them, but then they ran out of the spot. So but a 20-foot by a 25-foot pool, maybe a 5-foot deep. So that's something we can partner up with our associate company and do. Because another example is like we were doing a building and needed a really nicely done elevator, right? So we haven't installed elevator before in one of our structures, so that's when we partner up with our associate partners to do that. So basically subcontracted them to do the elevator portion of the property, right? Because they're expert in that. They've installed elevator. They work with all the buildings, then for Royal Hotel, Boulevard, all these guys, they work with them. So we're like, you know what? Let's consult with them. Either they can supervise our engineers to do it, or we subcontract to them and then do it. So, we just don't want to get into anything that for me personally, because that's the thing in Liberia, right? Everybody can just accept things that they know they can't really do, but they go figure it out because they don't want to lose the money. So, like, I'll be upfront with you. I'll let you know, look, yes, we can do it. However, I'm not comfortable well enough with my team. So, yes, what we're going to do, right? We're going to subcontract, or we're going to have a supervision. Sometimes it's come out of our profit because we got to, pay these associates to come and, supervise what we got going on, or subcontracted. But that pool, the 24 by 25, that's something we can do with our partners, basically. So we built a pool before, but it wasn't that big, and we can just kind of have, our engineers, the guys who've been together. Our top 3 has close to 40 years of experience, right? Each person has been at least 10 years construction, general construction. They've worked on so many bigger projects, especially on that Monrovia Boulevard, Top End Boulevard there. So these guys they're highly skilled, but typically if it's anything outside of that, we will consult with somebody else. So that's what it is. Couple, what's good, couple says so true. But yeah, another thing I want to mention is this year we've done a lot of repairs and rebuilt than any other time, and this happened because a lot of folks who are building in Liberia, to not your fault, or at least to some extent, because most of us in the diaspora who are building, we want to cut corners, we want to go through short channels. A lot of folks, and sometimes we just don't know, right? You're building Liberia, you don't know, you just do whatever you're told. A lot of folks are building Liberia without proper planning, as far as starting from the beginning to the end, and actually spending that money and getting things done the right way, right? What I mean is, a lot of people are building without a structural plan, or it's called a construction plan. They're not building with a full construction plan where everything is your builders that going by the book. Now, I understand some people just want to put up a structure. They don't care to just put up something that I can lay my head in, which is fine. It's completely okay. You're fine. Sorry. People in the neighborhood, that know how to build it, put up your structure. You know, sometimes it's oftentimes better than whatever it is that's there. Maybe sometimes for your parents or just someone to lay your head. That's fine. You don't have to do too much, you know. But a lot of folks are just building in Liberia. There's another person who reached out to me. The guy is building a 5-story building. He wants it to be a high end, and he wanted me to, because we offer construction management. So we manage a construction where we supervise it. We utilize our like I said, our professor to kind of you know, check things, check the structure, all of that stuff once in a while, each step of the project. And so the first thing I usually ask is, hey, send me your full construction plan so we know the structure set up. And this man's like, I don't have a construction plan. The guy who is building the stuff for me, what he sent me was a drawing with pencil on a piece of paper. Like the guy's like, oh, this is structure's gonna be, and you know, your room is gonna be here, you wanna build it. And everything is, I mean, it's a disaster. Everything is left to the builders. That's a setup for a disaster. So a lot of you guys who are building Liberia, if you're building, you're spending anything more than 25, 30, 40, 50,000, make sure you have your full construction plan. Make sure you have your full design of your home before it is built. Make sure you even have a virtual video of your whole inside of your house, how the whole thing is going to look, because that's going to keep everybody on their toe. That's going to keep your construction team to know exactly what it's supposed to be doing. That gets you know exactly what you're expecting, right? So just go there, and it's gonna cost money. Before you start putting anything on the ground, meet with a company. Like for us, before we even start brushing the ground, we have to do your construction plan. We have to do your site map. We have to do your soil testing, visibility testing. We have to do you know, your full core in-depth estimate, all of these things before we even start brushing the first ground. But a lot of people who are building like, bro, don't do these things at all. So you're building a structure, and you're not an engineer, so you're building a structure where you go there, you see it looks fine, but then I swear to you, within 2 years time, the whole thing is cracks coming in the house, the roof is leaking, water is seeping in the home, all of that stuff, right? So you just have to, you spend that money, you will spend $400, $500, $600, $700 to do all of these things, preliminary things, but you just have to. You have to. And if your construction team cannot read a full construction plan, you already know you're setting yourself up for failure. You already know you're setting yourself up for failure. And if your full construction team is building your home without insurance, without performance bond or nothing like that, that's not a good sign, right? Because if anything happened, they're coming back to you. I'm tired of hearing people like, I just keep sending money, and they keep call me, say, oh boss man, oh boss lady, oh yeah, oh this, oh yeah, oh that, oh the zinc this, the roofing. It's just like people get exhausted, they get drained. The amount of people who have abandoned their projects in Liberia is astronomical. Like people they're like, you know what, I'm tired, I'm done. Like I just keep sending the money. I don't know what happened, but that's because one, you don't really have your full broken down estimate, each setup with a milestone to know exactly how much money each step will cost, the timeline duration, and you sign that performance bond knowing that this is it. You're not coming back to me for anything. Anything else happening is on you, the construction company. We would take the fault. Like I said, right? When we miscalculated the angle of that roof or the hidden roof on that property, and that one side of the wall came down, we didn't call the client and be like, hey, no, we took care of that. Because, you know, that's something that we're insured for. And other than that, that's something that if it's on our end, we take care of that, right? So if you're getting called every day, oh, boss man, oh, boss lady, and stuff like that, and you're just going in blind, then that's not a good sign. Because, you know, you have to be prepared for it. Because construction doesn't really go smoothly at all at any point, right? So just things like that. Alton said, are solar panels legal? If so, are there installation professional? Oh, yeah. Yeah, solar panels are legal in Liberia. And there's a lot of companies. We have Sonora. We have like 2 major companies that we work with in Liberia here that is basically part of our team. We partner with them. So for the homes that we're building, we priced it in. Even one of our vendors are like, look, you don't even have to pay the amount up front. We'll price it in within the home, and as you're making your payment through installment, you're paying the solar panel off as well, right? So things like that. And you're gonna need it. If you're gonna build a decent house in Liberia, you're gonna need solar panel, unless you're running generator every time. You know, running by gas, the noise, and LEC, of course, you know, it's on and off. So you're definitely gonna need that. You know, building, you just, I'll say, save close to about, if you want a really good one, you save about 10 grand, get you a nice home, your 3-bedroom, 3-bath, get your refrigerator running, your air conditioner running, TV and stuff, lights on, you know, get some battery backup, is mostly sunny in Liberia. You get a just small generator for a little backup. You know, if something happening, the solar panel is faulty, just to keep your air conditioner on, and a couple of refrigerators. You know, that's it. But yeah, solar panel is definitely legal. So hi from Norway. Finally came. Finally, some serious company are in Liberia. Where can I find out more information? Oh, okay, yeah, definitely. How do you pronounce your name? Uris? Yeah. So our company basically Vision is it's visionestatesliberia.com or Vision Estates Liberia on Google to pull up visionestatesliberia.com. But most people just meet us in person. So we're in Cinco on 24th Street, FE Shortcut, right? So there's a building called Divine Building, right opposite Connors gas station. We're on the fifth floor. Oh, fourth floor, I'm sorry. So yeah, that's what our office is. People come in all the time, meet us in person. I love that just because I need to have a presence. You know, when we started the company, and one of the things that cost a lot of money was acquiring that space, right? I'll say it was 30% of our budget when we started up. And when I sat with my partner, we're like, man, should we really do this? Should we maybe just meet people at Royal Hotel? No, I'm like, we have to invest in a presence, like physical place is part of that transparency, is part of that credibility, is part of that ease of mind, knowing that you can drive up to that Connex building, you go on the fifth, you click that thing, go on 302. Oh, so we're on the third floor. Sorry, it's a 5-story building. It's a 5-story building on the third floor, 302. You click that elevator, go to 302, you meet us there, right? And so we needed that. We needed that presence in the country where people can send their family members there. They can bring their plan. They can come and ask questions and see what's going on, all of that stuff. You know, and things like that. There's something we're working on too. I'm not going to reveal right now, but something I'm working on that gives you extra peace of mind from anywhere in the world to kind of see the progress of your project and know exactly at what point what is happening at what time and all of that stuff in correlation to your milestone and the budget and everything. It was pretty intuitive. So we're working on that. It's been going on for close to a year now. You know, technology, we got to make sure everything is good. But so that's something like that we're working on. But you know, just doing things differently. How much should I save up for 2 acres and a wall around the land? I'll recommend if you're 2 acres. Oh, okay, shoot. I was thinking 2 lots. Man. So land buying and the prices varies dramatically. However, for most people who are coming from the diaspora, location is key. And ease of access is key, right? So you want to make sure you're at a location where you can easily get to that location, and you're in an area where a few things are around, right? Because that's the difference, right? It happens all the time. You call your people back in Liberia, so I want land. They understand it. To the people in Liberia, most of them, right? They will get you land way in the corner somewhere. To them, it's fine. Most people living way inside places. They walk all the way 15 minutes to the road and things like that. The road is not good, but they're okay. Most of them don't have cars to drive it. So when they're buying you land, they're just buying land that to them is fine. But when you get there, you're like, oh, shoot. I went with this one lady. She was going to go show me her land, but that was the first time in Liberia. So her cousin was taking her to the land, and their cousin purchased for her. She wanted me to go take a look. I swear to you anything. We got halfway to the land. The lady was like, nah, I'm out. She's like, I'm not living down here. I can't make it. Right? But to that cousin, it was fine. Like, oh, I got land somewhere, it's cheap and everything. No. So if you were saving for a 2 acre, the 2 acre that we bought recently for our construction is $26,000. But that's because it's right off the road, is in a community where there's LEC, all the big government buildings are there. It's right off the Ralphie Highway, less than 30-second drive, front access, things like that, right? But good land at good place, currently it will be $2,500 per lot. So you multiply that times 8, that's what you get for your 2 acres. So you're looking at about 20,000 for 2 acres. But you can get 2 acres for like 8,000. You can get 2 acres for 10,000. You can get 2 acres for 6,000. But that'll be places where it's a developing area. You're gonna have to maybe make your own path of the road there, or nothing is in that area yet. You'll be the only house in that area, which is fine if you're cool with that. You know, you be off grid, get a solar, get everything. You grit out your road. Maybe you spend less than $6,000. You create a road from whatever mean where you have, grit it down, put some red dirt, level it out. You're good. You know, you be one of the first people in that area, you know, nice and quiet and things like that. But if you want to come to an area where it's more developing, buildings are around, things like that, then I'll say, you know, a comfortable 10,000 would be good for 2 acres. But prime land, more prime, a little bit more prime, then say right around 20,000 to get a prime land, especially if you're going to use it for business. A lot of people want to, that's the mistake a lot of people make. I've said this on the channel so many times. A lot of people want to buy land to start business in Liberia, but they want to save so much money and they want to spend less money. And the people in Liberia don't fully understand what your vision is. Then they buy your land, you go there now. It's not conducive for business, right? I have this one guy building, he just went to Liberia for the first time to see his apartment building he's building. The thing is so far in the hole that nobody's gonna live down there. Like, it's gonna have a local, maybe local people living there, but those people are not gonna be one. They don't have the means to spend more than $100 a month, $150 a month. And if you've made that kind of investment, you're getting $150 a month for a unit. You're looking at recouping your investment in 10 years. And in Liberia, you're building 10 years old building. Man, that building is old. It's like run down by that point. In Liberia, buildings don't last. Those things didn't last like 3 to 5 years. Your building is really old already. That thing is old. You know what I mean? Especially commercial now. People who are tenants, because ain't nobody care about your building in Liberia. It's not their home, so it's not their property. So they don't care. They're not going to be putting money back in the place, like repainting. Nah, anything that's probably leaving it there. You know what I mean? Alton said, are beachfronts lot available? Are there communities on near the beach? Beachfront lots available. A lot of folks who own beachfront properties are being a little bit stingy with it. Like, they're keeping it, like they're not in a hurry to sell it because they know a lot of people want beachfront. So if you negotiate too much, they may tell you, nah, sorry, and then because the next person gonna come along. But there are beachfront property in, you know, Marshall Road area. Again, like I said, you go further down, there are some beachfront property, but again, most people are going to be selling around 3,005 per lot, 3,000 per lot, right? And a lot of those places are not, you wouldn't really see a lot of properties there. There's not a lot of beachfront homes in Liberia. There's not a lot of beachfront homes. It's just a lot of beachfront land and other places that businesses are, like, you know, beaches and things like that. Like, people can go and pay money to go there, but yeah, not as much on there as well. So I'll probably be here for 8 minutes. Usually spend an hour on live. So if you're on here, you got any questions, let me know. But yeah, that's what we have going on right now. So hit me up on that WhatsApp number, you know, Instagram, Liberia to the World, Facebook, Liberia to the World as well, and stuff like that. And if you have any construction questions, needs, you know, you want to consult with us, definitely do that. Just hit me up. You know, I do that all the time. I spend a lot of time on the phone talking to people, just, you know, giving my humble opinion, recommendations, and things like that. You know, I love doing that. I love to see people win. I love to see people contribute back to Liberia. It's going to help all of us in the long run, because most of us are going to be going back home. Most of us like going to live or spend time or starting business. The more people do back home, when you establish your business is going to benefit, because that means more things are going on and more people are coming, right? So that's kind of what it is. But yeah, if anybody has anything else, let me know. If not, I'm about to dip. And yeah, so let's see here. No, Alton, okay. All right, so definitely, yeah, definitely. Yeah, yours, hit me up, and yeah, we'll do that. And I offer a lot of some free house plan and details. So if you maybe you're like, hey, you know, trying to save some money, I'm okay with a plan that's already existing, then sometimes I do that. I give out full construction plan to people, because a good one will cost you money, you know. So some of the ones that we've done prior before, or some of the ones our team has done just for advertisement, things like that, if you reach out to me, I can send it to you. You can use that to build, you know, as a guideline or stuff like that to build in Liberia. So yeah, just reach out to me and let me know. But anyways, all right, guys, it's close to an hour, so I'm gonna hit y'all up later on. All right, I'll see you guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.